Welcome to Judy's Creations in Crochet. And today is April the 20th, 2023. And I want to welcome all of my viewers. And if this is your first time, if you just happened by chance to find this channel, I hope you enjoy what you see on my channel and that you subscribe and come back. I am excited to tell you that just the other day, yesterday or the day before, I made the 800 mark. So I'm really happy about that. We only have 200 more to go, and we have May, June, July, August, 4 months, maybe part of September, if we can make 1,000 by the time my podiversary gets here at the end of September. So I hope you enjoy what you see. Leave me a thumbs up and a comment. I enjoy reading your comments, and I always respond. So, and I know some of my viewers say they go back and they catch up on all my old ones because I see them making comments to videos from last year and the year before. So anyway, I'm just glad to have you all here. You can see I'm dressed warmly again. We had a beautiful week last week, summertime. We had temperatures for the Americans in the group between 75 and 80 degrees, which would be in the upper teens, 16, 17, 18 degrees Celsius. And it went the whole week. It felt like summer. And now, a couple days later, here it is at freezing. Apparently, I didn't see it. It was gone by the time I got up, but some of my friends told me they got up to snow. My girlfriend had to clear the snow off her car earlier this week. So who can predict this weather? I just hope the cold doesn't stick around too long. They're promising warmer next week. And then before you know it, it's May. And while we're talking about May being around the corner, I just want to remind you that it'll soon be the end of April, and I am starting to get a number of people sending me their pictures for the April Cal. So don't forget, you just have until whatever next Friday is, the 28th, I believe it is, to get me your picture in. So I'll probably mention it one more time before the end of this video. So if you recall, when I first started this channel, I said it was all about the FOs. It's developed over time into other things, but I started it because I had quite a decent sized stash of finished objects. And I had been hoping for a craft show to sell them. They had been canceled due to COVID. And so I started this channel with the intent that I wanted to show my FOs. And we kind of got away from that. My stash has diminished. I've sold some, and I've shown you a little bit over time. And I thought, you know what? I don't have really a finished object to show you today. So I do have one finished object, and I'll talk about that later. So I thought I would bring some items out of my stash for today. And I decided to make it a purple day. See the purple around me? And mostly what I have left to show you are what I call the fashion scarves. And I would say they are predominantly patterns by CJ Brady. So I won't know the exact pattern. I will link CJ Brady in the description box below. So I'm going to start with this one. I have a very small little mannequin. You can't see much on her. She's so narrow. So I'll take it off and show you. this could be, because it looks like, oh no, it does have V's in it, V stitches. So, and again, because I made these several years ago, I don't know the yarn. I do know it's merino because I label it. So it was a yarn that came out of my stash. And it has like the dragon's tooth idea at the bottom, all along the edge. And this particular pattern, I'm going to guess it started at one corner over here and increased to the middle, and then it would have decreased to the far side. It's quite wide, and doing it that way gives it kind of a nice little scalloped edge on the straight edge, straight side as well. So doesn't match my outfit, but you can see it's the type that, can I tip this down? Yeah, and I would put it around my neck like this. Good size. Could drape down low if you wanted it to. The next one is maybe a little more pink than purple, but it has purple in it as well. And it's another one of these, this is a different pattern. And now this one I'm going to guess, because I did it more than once, is her pattern called 1,000 Kisses. And it is more like a boomerang. It gets wider as it builds from the point. It gets wider, and then she brings it in and decreases it, but she decreases it quickly. You can tell it's a boomerang because when I fold it in half, I don't have a point. See, the two sides are not the same. This yarn feels nicer, although it says superwash merino and stellina, but I don't know. Maybe that was just plain merino and this is superwash merino. I don't know if that makes a difference, but anyway, there's the pattern, and it has stellina in it. Can you see? You can't see the sparkle, can you? No, I can't get the sparkle to sparkle. But it does have stellina in it. Oh well. Some days it shows and some days it doesn't. But anyway, this is one of the ones that I like these kind of neck wraps. They give you a little bit of warmth on the neck. They add a little dressiness to the outfit. They're not overly big. They wrap around nice and easy. And the last one I want to show you today is this one. This one is much more purple. And it again has stellina in it, but I think you can see sparkle in that one. Yeah, see the sparkle? And again, it's probably just merino and stellina. I don't see, oh, there's the tag. Oh, this has nylon in it. Merino, nylon, and stellina. And once again, it's a CJ braid. At one time, I didn't know too many designers. And when I discovered her, I loved her patterns so much that I made them a lot. Now, this one, again, is a V. And I'm wondering if it started at the V and worked up. It has, looks like V stitches in it. They do block out quite nicely and stretch. So you see that's more purples and grays. There's a little bit of dark hunter green in it every so often as well. But anyway, let's put this back on her. I put the V in the center. And sometimes if these are long enough, I think you've seen, I sometimes tie a knot in them just for decorative purposes. And there we go. So that's what you're going to get to see as FOs this week as part of my stash. Hopefully one day I can work that stash down. If I'm lucky enough to sell some of them at the market on Facebook next week, then I'll have a smaller stash sitting here. And I want to once again encourage you. Some of you I sent out because you're on Facebook. I was able to send you, you have to be one of my Facebook friends, one of my personal Facebook friends. I could send you an invite, but there's also the link down below. Last time I'm probably going to tell you about it, but there aren't a lot of vendors there right yet. It starts next Wednesday, but you can already see the things that people have put up. There is one other person that crochets besides me, but her things are totally different. She does blankets and slippers and can't remember what else, but some smaller. Oh, I saw a little octopus and other smaller things. And then there's a painter, and I don't think everybody's up yet, so I don't know what all there'll be. But it's interesting to go and look at. So if you would please take the link to the page and put in Judy's Creations to say that I did invite you. It just helps me a little bit. And some of you have told me that you have gone and followed the link and signed up. And I truly, truly appreciate it. Thank you. So, no FOs. Yes, there was one FO. I shouldn't say no, but what happened was, I showed you the beginning of it last week, and it's the blue asymmetrical scarf I'm making as a test. She is going to release it early May, and she did not want me to show my finished object yet until she releases her pattern. But I did finish it on the weekend. But in fact, hair or fluff or something. But in fact, after finishing it and everything and posting pictures and the whole bit, I've come to realize it's really not quite as big as I would like it or it should be. And I have about, half to 3/4 of one of those balls of Truboo left. So I'm going to use that ball at some point in a week or so and finish it off. But technically it is a finished object. So what am I working on? Very quickly, I just started, and this is my main project for the coming week. You can't tell what it is, I'm sure, but I have just started my April cow. And here is the yarn. I've shown it, and I also have a ball of white with speckles. It's upstairs. I just brought the one ball down because it was attached. And I am using a 4.0 furls hook. And I will tell you that it's a CJ Brady pattern. So that's what I'm working on mostly in the coming week. But I have been working on, and probably will alternate a little bit, working on the Windsurfer scarf. And that's the scarf that uses these two cakes. I don't know if you can tell, I've used a lot more of each cake. We are getting lighter and lighter in the aqua, and we're getting lighter and lighter in the purple. And here is the scarf so far. Put these down. So I don't know if you can tell how much how much bigger it is, but I am working down to here. Now, when I hold it up like this, you can see it's getting lighter, but you can't see how light it is until I take here's what I'm working on. And if I take the beginning tail, see the difference? That's what I started with, and this is what it's getting to. So it definitely is changing colors, slow. Um, I don't mind. I know it's big. It's probably big enough for some people right now, but I took, as I told you, some of that aqua out because it went on forever and ever. And at one point, I did take a little bit of the sort of medium purple out, not as much. But I intend to work down pretty much to the end of this cake so that I can see how that gray and the peachy, I don't know, salmon color, I want to see how they look together. So I will keep working on it slowly but surely when I need a break from one thing to another, and see how big this is going to get. Candy from Blue Eyed Style told me, yeah, it's big, but it's not terrible. So I will finish it. And I really do I do kind of enjoy working on this. It's very, I mean, you're just doing single crochets back and forth. It's a moss stitch is what it is. And so there's nothing taxing. I guess it's repetitive. I guess it's kind of relaxing once in a while to just do something you don't need to think about. And I did think about doing another of these. I have quite a few cakes that I went through my stash and I paired them up. But I don't think I want to make anything this big again. And I have learned one thing. If I make another using big cakes like this basically went from shades of purple to the salmon. This went from aqua to gray, shades of gray, 2 colors. And maybe that's what I found tedious. There wasn't enough color change. So if I do another one, I will find cakes that have maybe 3 or 4 colors in them to have more color change. And in fact, I'm thinking of looking through my stash and finding 2 skeins, just regular skeins of yarn that are the 400 meters each, and getting one that is variegated or speckled, something like that, and another one that matches it that is solid or tonal, and just doing that. Now that won't change from one color to another, but there'll be variety in it, and I think the contrast will be quite interesting. So the next time I do it, I'm going to try one of those. And then if I do it again, like I said, I'll get 2 cakes that, first of all, I have some that are 900 instead of 1,000 meters, and I'll get cakes that have more color change in them. But it's been interesting to do. It's been enjoyable, relaxing, I guess, to have it as a break from the real busy things. So those are the 2 things I am busy working on at the moment, back and forth, although I'm going to put my focus on my April cal because I only have a little over a week to get it done. Well, 10 days. So I want to make sure it's done before I really get engrossed in something else. But you know how it can be, how you can go looking for things. And well, I think I spent one day down a rabbit hole looking at patterns, and it is amazing how many beautiful patterns there are out there. And if we only had all the time in the world to do all these patterns, sometimes I feel frustrated knowing that I just can't get to them all. And I really, really want to do them. But the one thing I have decided is that I want to do things that have a different feature. They're unique, are not common, one shawl after another. I mean, they have different stitches, but, they're all very similar. I want to find some patterns that have a unique quality to them. So hopefully I can get a bunch of them done this spring. The other thing I realized in pondering my channel is that it has been a little while since I have done a review of one of my EFA yarns. And it's also been a while. I think both of these I did in January. It's been a while since I did a focus on a designer. So I have decided that next week we're going to do a review of an EFA yarn. I have two in mind. I'll sort through what I have and pick one for next week. So that's coming up right away. As for designer, that takes a little longer. I have not paid attention to designers until I started my channel. So I never focused on one designer over another. And I've done a lot of Fiber Spider, but I don't think like he would want to participate in this. And I don't think he exactly designs he uses Purple Iguana patterns and others that he adapts. So I have a designer. I've seen a lot of her patterns that I like and want to do. So I'm going to get busy once I finish this cal at doing some, I'm not going to say the name yet in case it doesn't work out. I'm going to do a few of her patterns. And if I'm happy with the couple I try, I will contact her and see if she will participate. She's in Australia, so she might be very interested to participate. And it'll be probably a couple of months. I don't think it'll happen in May, but maybe by early June, I'll be able to do another focus on a designer. And that means to do one of her patterns. I'm almost sure the pattern I want to start with is going to use, everybody's wondering, hey, when are you going to use these Advent minis? I got another board down there. Well, I think I'm going to do a pattern of hers using those particular minis. So you're going to see them disappear in another week or two. And talking about Advent minis, do you know that some of the dyers are already promoting their Advent calendars? So I'll let you in on a secret. I've already purchased two. I'll probably purchase two more. And this year, I'm trying to stay completely with Canadian dyers. And so far, I have purchased two from Canadian dyers, and I have another one in my basket that I'm probably going to get. There's another Canadian dyer. I'm trying to spread them. I did one last month, one this month. I'll do one in May and one in June, probably. I need to spread them out a little bit because they are a little more costly. And I don't know if I want to get the one I have in my basket right yet. I want to see what else comes out, because a lot of them won't start putting it out until maybe June and July. So I'm holding off on deciding, but yeah, I'm hoping to have 4 Advent calendars to show you in the fall. I have one for July, if you remember. Okay, hang on a sec here. So lots and lots of things I have twirling around upstairs there, plans that I want to make, but it's just finding the time to do it all. Now I'm going to change the focus to acquisitions. As you know, I have still a number on the back of the table. I haven't made near the purchases in this year that I made before Christmas, but they're the ones from before Christmas are sitting there. But in the last couple of weeks, I did a little more spending, but I mostly did small things. just because I wanted to try things out. And the first thing I did was I saw Candy showing something that really, really interested me. And it was called Make It Tweed. I don't know if I mentioned this last week or not, but she said she had trouble finding it. And I went looking, and there was a place here in Ontario, and it is called the Wool and Silk Company. Here is their card. This is a shop in, as you can see, Shelburne, Ontario. I'm judging by the postal code that it is up in the Hamilton, Niagara Peninsula area. Maybe closer to Toronto, but somewhere up there. I really don't know where Shelburne is on the map. I guess I should look, but I don't know. But anyway, this is the company, the Wool and Silk Company, that carried the Make It Tweed. It's by Rico Creative. So Rico, I believe, is from the UK, so you'd find it over there. But here it is, Make It Tweed. And here are the little wee strands, like almost like crochet cotton, very tiny. I've never worked with anything that tiny, but you don't work with this. You put this, see the little tweedy bump? There are tweedy bumps all along, but this is a multicolored one. I suppose some people would want a solid color. Honestly, I don't recall if there were other colors besides this. I must go back and look. But anyway, this is a ball that has, I think I read 475 meters. It's composed of viscose, acrylic, and polyamide. So what you really do with this is put this thin little strand with the tweedy bumps along with a regular yarn. So you could use a worsted weight. I'm probably going to put it with a fingering weight or a DK. I have some solid DKs. Obviously, you want to put it with a solid color when you have all of these colors happening. But see all the little bumpies? That's what would make it into a tweed. So I think I'm going to start by trying to make like a scarf or a cowl or something first, see how it goes. I bought several balls because I thought I'd like to try it with different colors, black, navy, brown, dark green maybe. Anyhow, I thought, you know what, if they're hard to find and they happen to have several in stock, I bought several. They weren't that expensive. 5 something, between 5 and 10. I don't have my bill, but they weren't really expensive. So, maybe they were $10. I don't know. Well, I got several. So that's Make It Tweed. And if you're interested in trying it out, you can check with this store. And I will put, the Wool and Silk Company. They must have an email. Not an email. Oh, yes. Online shopping, woolandsilkshop.com. There it is. I will put a link to it in the description box. But while I was there, I didn't just want to get a couple balls of this. I also saw they had some beads, not very many, maybe 4 or 5 colors, but I did buy one package of beads, and these turn out to be the same size as the ones I showed you before. And they were only $2. I'm talking Canadian money. It's a Canadian store. They were only like $2 a pack. So I know I can go there again and see what other colors they have. There's 420 beads. So, and thank you very much. You all are very concerned for me. Not a lot, but a number of you told me about a bead pattern. Most of you referred to the, I forget the name of the shawl that EFA released. Actually, They released it as a free pattern probably a month ago. And I'll tell you now, if it has anything to do with EFA, I'm aware of it. I'm on their mailing list and I see the video they put out every week. I get notified of their videos. So I was very aware of that particular pattern. And I do have it on my to-do list. When I'll get to it, I don't know. That to-do list is longer than my lifetime will last. But anyhow, I was looking for some more and I did find a couple more. And then finally, they had another yarn that I like the look of, and I bought one just to see how it worked. And it's Estelle. This shop is a local yarn shop. They carry a lot of things from around the world. They don't hand dye themselves. This has 400 meters and it's superwash merino and nylon, a 75-25. This is what it looks like here. But on their website, you can see its long striping. And they had the picture that shows the gradation of it. And there was another one, they call it a sock twist. So it is meant to make a pair of socks. You can machine wash and tumble dry. Because it has nylon in it, it's good for socks. I just liked the look of the color, and there was one other I liked. So I thought, well, I'll buy one just to see how it works. And 400 meters, it says it has 2 gradients in one ball. Knit to the middle. Of course, I won't be knitting anything. Then start again. So in other words, at the middle, it starts repeating from what you see from the outside. I just want to see how it looks, and I may very well get a second one of this to make a shawl, or I may just take this one and make it a scarf type thing and see how it looks. And it feels nice, so I probably will buy another one of these at some point. So that was my small order from the Wool and Silk shop. And then I was watching Bonnie Bay, I believe, Bonnie Barker, and she has a channel, she puts something out every week, and she was showing her latest shawl, I think it was, shawl or wrap, and she mentioned this Noro yarn, and you know I haven't had a lot of luck with Noro because you can't touch and feel it, and you order something, you think it's going to feel real nice, and it gets here, and it doesn't. It feels stiff and even a little scratchy. So I've always been hesitant to order any. Now I have been wanting to make an order from a store called the Knitting Loft, and it is in Toronto. For those non-Canadians, Toronto is the capital of Ontario, and Toronto is about 200 miles from me. I'm putting in miles for the non-Canadians, and depending where in Toronto you want to go, because it's big, it's about a 3.5 to 4 hour drive. I believe she's in North York, so it's a little bit farther. I've been wanting to order from there because I've been watching Heather's, well, she changed her name. I think it's Heather's Knitting Nook now. And she makes a lot of sweaters. And she gets yarn from there. And she has made a number of sweaters using 2 of the yarns from Knitting for Olive. She puts a mohair along with a regular merino. And I wanted to buy some, and then I thought, oh, you don't really need it. So I haven't purchased from them until Bonnie Barker, mentioned this Noro. And she said, this is the softest Noro I've ever felt. And I thought, now that might be a Noro I should try. And she said it's called Enka, E-N-K-A. I thought, well, I'm going to go looking for it. So I put it into Google search, and it came up with this yarn at the Knitting Loft in Toronto. So I said, oh, well, that's a good place to go and get one to try it. Not very far. Shipping shouldn't be much, on and on. So I went online and I found this. It wasn't my favorite color, but I get the impression that she's going out of this because she only had, I don't know, 6 or 7 colors, and half of them were already, I don't know if it's discontinued, but they were certainly out of stock. Well, partly that was because this yarn is normally, I don't know if it was $50 or $60, but it was marked down to, doesn't say on here the original, it was marked down to 33, which is a good discount. I think she said it was 40% off. So of the 2 that were available, this was the color I like best. When they show it more purple and blue. You can see the purple and blue in there. Not quite so much red, but that's okay. I don't dislike red. So here is, see, Enka. So if you're looking to try a Noro and want something soft, this, by the way, is a DK weight, says number 3. I'd like to find a fingering weight, but if this works out nice, I may try to find another one somewhere. This has, I'll tell you what's in it, if I can. It's got 50% cotton, 20% silk, 15% wool, and 15% polyamide, and it has 500 meters. So that's a pretty good size. I can make a sizable scarf already. I'm not really happy at the size of the knots. I'm hoping there aren't too many of those. Now, a knot that size, I probably won't work over. I'll probably cut it, make 2 tails, and weave in the tails. But I don't see any other knots while I'm looking at it. So because of this, I ended up making an order from the Knitting Loft. And along with it, I thought I'm just going to order one color. I ordered knitting for Olive in this color. I forget what it was called. I don't think it says here. Oh, artichoke purple. I don't know how the color of artichoke. So this is merino, and this is the kids' mohair. A lot of the colors, not all, but pretty much most of them match. So I wanted to get one of each, and that's $2.25, and this is $2.50. So I'll see what I can. I'll probably make something small with this and see how I enjoyed working with it. And if I enjoy working with it, I may down the road get another color and get a sweater quantity, or at least a top. This is not cheap yarn when you think you're putting 2 of these together. And then it's 100% fine merino, and it feels nice. It is fine, but it'll feel much nicer with this. And then I bought one other of their yarns. They had 4 types in the Knitting for Olive. I bought one that's called Pure Silk. I can't say this Pure Silk feels special in any way. This is fuchsia, and it has 250 meters in it. Honestly, I'd much rather spend the money on something like Pearlescent in EFA. It has a silky feel to it, and some of the others, which I'm going to talk about one next week. I mean, it's not bad feeling, but it's not special feeling at all for being pure silk. So that was another small order I made here in Ontario. Now, I'm going to tell you about one other, and then I'll probably be done for the day. There is a pattern, and I'm going to try to put a picture up here of what I'm talking about. I just don't know if I can get a copy of it, if I can get a screenshot. But as you know, I follow Karen Hooley, and I actually did focus on her as a designer last fall. And I am in a group she has right now, and this year I will be getting all of her patterns free. And this is one she came out with recently. And what I like about it is it's a pattern to make a scarf that uses one hank of yarn. And then it uses, as you can see, it has a trim around it. It uses one mini skein. Now, you can easily, buy any mini skein you want and one hank of yarn from your stash. But she purposely made it because, and I'm going to show you part of an order. Many companies produce oh, I know how I can show you. If you recall, I sometimes get what's called a sock set from Arkansas Sock Company. This is their Sock Yarn Society. And a lot of companies will sell these as a pair. A hank of yarn, and then a matching, coordinating, or sometimes contrasting color to go with it. And the purpose is one hank of yarn in sock yarn will make 2 socks, and then this other little mini makes the cuffs, toes, and heels in this pair of socks. Now, I don't make socks, but I should have put it on my goals for the year, but it might not get done this year. But I have in my mind that maybe this is a year I should try making socks. I don't wear socks that much, but maybe I'll make a couple of pairs just to have. And this is excuse me, dry throat today. This is how they sell them. And I have a few of these. Well, I already have 2 or 3 from Arkansas. And I like the pattern she put out. It's very basic, but I think it could be beautiful depending on what yarns you put together. And I thought I would like to make a few of those. So I'm going to buy a few sock sets. If I don't make the scarf, I'll have them to make some pairs of socks. So I started researching in Etsy mostly for companies that had some sock sets. And I ended up getting a few. I still have 1 or 2 more coming. But I did get just one the other day. These are all things I received in the last week. And this comes from a company called Altered Skeins. And they are in the out west. Are they the ones in Saskatchewan or the ones in Vancouver? I'm not sure, but they are out west, and I will link them below. So here's what I got. It came shrink wrap, so I think I got free shipping. That's why I only ordered one. I don't order one if I have to pay shipping because it's too much. Then I ordered 2 or 3 or 4, but I only ordered one because it's free shipping. See all the pretty colors in that? Now, it's a little duller than the picture looked. It looked to have a little more purple in it than it does. It seems to have more green than I expected, but that's fine. And then it came with my favorite color. And this is called Amethyst. This one is called Fireworks. And it's on their Foxtrot base, which is 80% merino, 20% nylon, fingering weight, 420 yards. And then this is what goes with it, called Amethyst. Now, I might put this with it. I don't see a lot of purple in it. I might decide to pick something else, like, a blue. I see more blue in it than purple, or even green. We'll see. But I just wanted to show you. that there are quite a few of these out there, and you might be interested in trying, put it here again if I have the picture, you might be interested in trying that pattern and getting a sock set. Or maybe you have a sock set and don't want to make socks and don't know what to do with it. Here is a pattern. She specifically designed it with that in mind. The purpose was to use a sock set. And I have had a couple of other orders come in. I will probably show you the ones with the sock sets in them next week. I'll show you a few more. So that's the acquisitions I have to show this week. And as I said, this week I am busy working on my April cow for the flower of the month, and I will have it done by next week, and I will show it to you next Thursday, and then next will be the following Monday. That will be the extra video. So if you haven't got it finished, you only have a little bit of time left to be getting me those pictures for our slideshow at the end of the month. So next week, I will show you, I'll do a review of one of the EFA yarns, and I have several objects made. Oh, I know one other thing I wanted to say. That is, I know that some people are waiting because I mentioned I've done a destash, and some of you bought that yarn and you seem to be happy with what you got. But I know there are a few people that are hoping to get some EFA yarn because it's a way to try it out a little cheaper than buying it at full price. And I do fully intend to do some destashing, but EFA yarn is yarn that I absolutely love, and the amount of destashing is going to be minor. But in the next week, there are 2 yarns I'm not sure about, and I'm going to try and just crochet up a small sample using those yarns to see if they are what I want or not. And then I may be in May sometime. I know I said April, but I'm not going to get to it for next week. But possibly a week or 2 after that, I'll have had time to try them and see if I am going to destash any at all. I may go through the other yarns and see if there's some colors that I'm not as particularly fond of and possibly destash those, but there won't be much. We'll be lucky if there's 2 or 3 or 4 skeins of yarn, unless I find this one type of yarn I don't like at all. So I just thought I'd mention that because I know some people are waiting for me to destash some EFA. And I'm thinking of it, but it's not happening real quick. So anyway, hopefully you'll be back next week when I do the review of some EFA yarn. And until then, happy hooking.